From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm David DeForest reporting the UN Arbitration Court dismisses China's territorial claims in the South China Sea. The Hague-based Permanent Court of Arbitration says China has no historic title to the large maritime region. The ruling answers a complaint brought by the Philippines in 2013 that accused China of violating the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea with its aggressive actions on the Scarborough Shoal. Paul Reichler headed the Philippine legal team.
It's not just the Philippines that wins from this decision. It's also Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, and other states with coasts along the South China Sea, which have legitimate claims under the Law of the Sea Convention to 200-mile exclusive economic zones, just like the Philippines.
China's ambassador to the United States rebuked the court, saying the ruling will undermine and weaken the motivation of states to engage in negotiations and consultations to resolve conflicts. He said his government, remains committed to negotiations with other parties about the South China Sea issue. President Barack Obama today honored 5 slain police officers during a memorial in Dallas, Texas.
We're here to honor the memory and mourn the loss of 5 fellow Americans, to grieve with their loved ones, to support this community, to pray for the wounded, and to try and find some meaning amidst our sorrow.
Last week's attack on white police officers by a black man has intensified a national debate over alleged racial bias in law enforcement. A fragile ceasefire called by rival leaders appears to be holding in South Sudan's capital, Juba. This is VOA News. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who waged an unsuccessful presidential campaign against former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, endorsed her candidacy Tuesday for the Democratic Party nomination.
Secretary Clinton has won the Democratic nominating process, and I congratulate her for that.
Sanders called Clinton far and away the best candidate. As pressure from European leaders mounts on incoming British Prime Minister Theresa May to accelerate her country's timetable for Brexit, the President of the European Parliament struck a more conciliatory note, calling for talks to begin after the summer and without rancor. After meeting in Paris with his French counterpart, U.S. Treasury Secretary Jack Lew called for an amicable outcome of the talks.
I think that it is very much in the interests of Europe, the UK, and the global economy for there to be a clear signal that the process of working through the aftermath of the British vote is one that's being undertaken in an atmosphere that's constructive, that's amicable.
May, who will take office on Wednesday, has said she will not initiate the exit negotiations before the end of the year. At least 20 people were killed and dozens injured when 2 passenger trains collided head-on Tuesday in the southern Italian region of Puglia. Police say the crash occurred as the trains were moving on a single track between the towns of Corato and Andria. Train cars were crumpled together and forced off the track at sharp angles, no immediate reason given for the collision. A suicide bomber blew up a car near a crowded outdoor market Tuesday in Iraq. At least 11 people were killed. 32 were wounded by the blast in the predominantly Shiite Al-Rashidiyya district. Police were forced to shut down several major roads around Baghdad because of the attack. No group immediately claimed responsibility. U.S. Secretary of Defense Ash Carter met Tuesday in Afghanistan with President Ashraf Ghani and General Mick Nicholson, the commander of U.S. and international forces in the country. Carter thanked U.S. troops for their efforts at stabilizing Afghanistan and preventing the country from becoming a safe haven for terrorists. 1 week after the FBI recommended no charges against Hillary Clinton for her handling of emails as Secretary of State, America's top law enforcement officer, Attorney General Loretta Lynch, declined to discuss specifics of the matter in testimony on Capitol Hill Tuesday. On Wall Street, U.S. stock indexes were higher at the close of trading today. In Washington, I'm Dave DeForest.
That's the latest world news from VOA.